Hey there, this is Erica from Ever Educating, and this channel is teaching tips, tools, ideas, and resources for new college instructors, as well as advice more generally for academics or those in alt-ac careers. We're in the last month of the year, and so now I feel it's peak time to start thinking about what you want to accomplish in the new year. Or in this case, today's video is specifically about reflecting on what are your core values and knowing that, what are you living up to and what are you not living up to tied to your core values. And knowing that, what do you want to do next year in order to become more aligned with those values. So I've been doing this work recently with my mentor at my work, and I find it to be very rewarding to have this time of reflecting on what do I value most. And this is not just tied to teaching, but just what you value most in your life, right? And then basing your actions, of course, on your values in order to be happier with what you're doing with your life. So in my case, I took a while to reflect on this. I had an activity, again, tied to a program at work that had a list of potential core values, and then they had you choose a few. And so in my case, my core values that I focused on was learning, and then health, followed by freedom, and then empathy, and then recognition. So those were the top 5 that I chose of this list. And so knowing that, then I thought to myself, okay, in what ways am I living up to these values and what ways am I not? And so I did, again, reflecting on paper and then looking at that list, I'm like, okay, well, what were my goals of this year, and which ones of those have I accomplished or am I accomplishing? Which ones are tied to which values, et cetera. Again, more reflecting. And then looking at all this content that I've written out in my notebook, I started thinking, okay, what are the really strong aspects of all this list that I feel are really important to me and to my life? If I do these things, I'm gonna feel like I'm living my core values and I'm gonna be living a fulfilling life. And so for example, right, so one of mine was learning. Now this makes sense because of the job I do. I'm an instructional designer, so I'm all about learning new ways to curate strong courses, as well as having courses where students will be learning what they need in order to succeed. So it makes sense. This is one of my core values. And so what things do I want to learn, right? And how are those potentially tied to other ones of my core values? So one of my core values is health, right? And so I was kind of thinking about, okay, well, I've been doing my walking, I've been doing this, I've been doing that. I haven't been eating as healthy as I could. All this stuff's going on, right? So maybe, I want to learn quick recipes that are very filling but healthy, because I'm hungry constantly, right? I'm a big snacker. So if I do some research into recipes that are really filling but also healthy, hopefully I'll snack less, right? And that could help me get through the day without constantly feeling like I need to have a snack because I'm getting a hungry headache, because I'm lethargic, et cetera, right? So learning these types of recipes, right, could then apply to my other core value of health, right? It could also apply to my core value of empathy, right, because I'm being empathetic towards myself, okay? It can also tie into recognition, because hopefully as I eat healthier, right, that will be seen in my mental acuity, in my physical health, my physical looks. And so I might be get recognized from others, hey, you look, a lot more lively recently. Oh, hey, I've noticed you slimmed down a bit, or whatever the case may be, right? Oh, I'm going over to your house and you have this awesome leftovers, or you're cooking a delicious meal for me, right? So that aspect of my core values, okay? So thinking of what are your top tier actions that you can be doing into the new year that will help you be living your core values, right? So I have one tied to cooking, I have one tied to my writing skills, I have one tied to my video editing and creation skills, and so on and so forth. And so I think this is a great thing to do now in December, because it can take a while. I've been working on this, reflecting on it for quite a long time, and you have so much potentially that you can consider a core value, but you can only do so much work at once, right? It's not like you're gonna potentially completely change your life in 1 year. I guess you can, but it could be more of a slow and steady wins a race kind of aspect. So maybe you have a lot of core values and you need to reflect on, well, which ones matter the most? Maybe the top 3, right? Or even the top 1 if you want to really do a slow approach to aligning your life with your values. So I think having a whole month before January 1st hits could be really helpful so that when the time does come, right, you really know, okay, here are my values. Here are the things that I want to be able to do in my life that align with these values. Here are the small key actions that will help me accomplish these skills, for example. And knowing that, I'm going to start with these particular ones for this reason. And I'm going to track my X, Y, and Z, right? So on and so forth. It can take some time. So that's why I have this video up early in December, because I think, again, that it can be really helpful to think about how can you align your life with your core values. Because I think doing so will make me at least much happier, right, with where I am in life. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you do, click like and let me know. If you want to share your core values, feel free to do so in the comments. And subscribe if you don't want to miss out on my next few videos, which are going to be, again, kind of thinking about prepping for the new year. And if you are a new college instructor, then of course, most of my other videos will apply to you, because on this channel, I mostly do teaching tips, ideas, resources, edtech tutorials, and the like. So I'll see you next time with a new video.